Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, April 15th, 2024. Today, I'm going to go over everything in the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. Got to the baseball and the hockey going on today. Soccer, NASCAR, Idol from yesterday, NFL mock draft, news and notes, and best bet. But we are going to start today with the Masters as Scotty Scheffler runs away at the end and wins it by a score of 11 under, and he had a 4 under in the final round. Coming in second with 7 under, coming to somebody that we did not expect, Lavig Oberg, so good for him. A lot of people were high on him, but I can't believe he came in second. Tied for third with 4 under, Max Homa, Colin Morikawa, and Tommy Fleetwood. Tied for 6 with 2 under, Cam Smith and Bryson DeChambeau. 8th with 1 under, Xander Schauffele. Tied for 9th at even, Will Zalatoris, Tyrrell Hatton, and Cam Young. Tied for 12th with 1 over, Cam Davis, Adam Schenk, Patrick Reed, and Matthew Pavon. Tied for 16th with 2 over, Chris Kirk, Bianganon, Sepp Straka, Nicholas Hojar. Tied for 20th with 3 over, Lucas Glover and Taylor Moore. Tied for 22nd with 4 over, Harry English, Joaquin Neiman, Minwoo Lee, Patrick Cantlay, Matt Fitzpatrick, Rory McIlroy, Keegan Bradley, Adam Scott. Tied for 30th with 5 over, Ricky Fowler, Saiwoo Kim, Jason Day, JT Potson, Tom Kim. Tied for 35th with 6 over, Camilo Vegas, HK Bahita, and Kurt Katayama. Tied for 38th with 7 over, Luke List, Corey Connors, Ryan Fox, Russell Henley, and Hideki Matsuyama. Tied for 43rd with 8 over, Shane Lowry and Phil Mickelson. Tied for 49th with 9 over, Dylan McCarthy, John Rahm, Danny Willett, Jose Olazabal, Brooks Koepka, who was my pick, and Sahith Thigley at 51st with 10 over, Grayson Murray. 52nd with 11 over, Eric Cole. Tied for 53rd with 12 over, Adam Hadwin and Nate Shipley. Tied for 55th with 13 over, Jake Knapp, Evan Van Rooyen, Tony Finau. Tied for 58th with 14 over, Bjorn Olsen and Vijay Singh. 60th with 16 over, Tiger Woods. And then among those cut, Zach Johnson, Austin Eckroth, Sergio Garcia, Justin Thomas, Nick Dunlap, Wyndham Clark, Lucas Hodges, Justin Rose, Sanjay M. I'm going to do notables cut. Victor Hovland, Sam Burns, Brian Harmon, Jordan Spieth, Stefan Yeager, Peter Malnati, Bubba Watson, Charles Schwartzel, Gary Woodland, Dustin Johnson, Nate Taylor, Emiliano Grillo. All right, 2 tournaments next weekend coming up. Should be really fun. We have the Corrales Punta Cana Championship, and we also have the RPC Heritage. And last year was my last big golf hit. I took Matt Fitzpatrick to an RBC Heritage, and I won that. So that was, I think, the last time I won a golf bet. So maybe 1 year later I can get some luck here. All right, now we'll go over the results from the NBA this weekend. Obviously, the last 2 days of the regular season. We'll start with Friday. Knicks over the Nets, 111-107. Sixers over the Magic, 125-113. Bulls over the Wizards, 129-127. Celtics over the Hornets, 131-98. Cavs over the Pacers, 129-120. Heat over the Raptors, 125-103. Lakers over the Grizzlies, 123-120. T-Wolves over the Hawks, 109-106. Thunder over the Bucks, 125-107. Spurs over the Nuggets, 121-120. Pistons over the Mavericks, 107-89. Pelicans over the Warriors, 114-109. Rockets over the Blazers, 116-107. Jazz over the Clippers, 110-109. Suns over the Kings, 108-107. And then yesterday, Celtics over the Wizards 132-122. Hornets over the Cavs 120-110. Knicks over the Bulls 120-119 in OT. Pacers over the Hawks 157-115. Heat over the Raptors 118-103. Magic over the Bucks 113-88. Sixers over the Nets 107-86. Nuggets over the Grizzlies 126-111. Suns over the Timberwolves 125-106. Lakers over the Pelicans 124-108. Thunder over the Mavs 135-86. Spurs over the Pistons 123-95. Warriors over the Jazz 123-116. Rockets over the Clippers 116-105. And the Kings over the Blazers 121-82. So the play-in tournament begins tomorrow. So how it played out. Boston clinched the 1 seed a long time ago in the East. The Knicks won the 2 seed courtesy of their win over the Bulls and the Bucks losing at Orlando. The Bucks are your 3 seed. The 4 seed is Cleveland, 48-34. They had a chance to jump to 2 had they beaten Charlotte, and the Knicks lost to the Bulls. And they're going to be playing the Orlando Magic in the first round. The Pacers finished 6th. They're going to be playing the Bucks. Obviously, that's a rematch of the in-season tournament semifinals. So that's pretty cool. Your 7-8 play-in is Philly Heat. That's about as sexy as a play-in game you're ever going to have. This is probably the biggest play-in game since... Wasn't Lakers Warriors a play-in a couple years ago? Probably since that, in terms of the 7-8. And then the 9-10 is Bulls-Hawks at the Bulls. And in the West, OKC ends up winning the 1 seed courtesy of some tiebreakers. Denver's 2, although the same record as OKC. Minnesota 3rd. Clippers 4th. They'll be playing the Mavericks in the first round. We knew that was set in stone for a while. The Phoenix Suns come in 6th. They dodged the play, and they'll be playing the T-Wolves. The Pelicans 7th. They'll be playing the Lakers in the play-in in New Orleans. So the game we just saw yesterday will be the play-in game there tomorrow night. And the winner of that will play Denver. And you know who Denver's rooting for, and it's not the Lakers. Denver is rooting hard for the Pelicans in that game. Hard. And if you're the Lakers, do you, low-key want to tank that game to play OKC instead of Denver? And then your 9-10 play-in is Golden State at Sacramento. So it's so enticing. And then obviously the winner of that game has a chance to play OKC. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. I want to try to get James Selliston on Thursday to talk about the playoffs and make round 1 picks. But it won't be easy because we won't know who will be the 8 seed yet. That's what's the risk with doing that. Okay, now we'll move on to the NHL. We will go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to some big games tonight. Friday. Hurricanes over the Blues 5-2. Preds over the Blackhawks 5-1. Coyotes over the Oilers 3-2 in OT. Golden Knights over the Wild 7-2. And the Flames over the Ducks 6-3. Saturday, Rangers over the Islanders 3-2 in a shootout. Stars over the Kraken 3-1. Jets over the Avs 7-0. Panthers over the Sabres 3-2 in OT on a game winner by Sam Reinhart. Flyers over the Devils 1-0. Caps over the Bolts 4-2. Red Wings over the Leafs 5-4 in OT on a game winner by Dylan Larkin. Sens over the Habs 5-4 shootout. Bruins over the Pens 6-4. Pride's over the Jackets 6-4. Canucks over the Oilers 3-1. Kings over the Ducks 3-1. And the Wild over the Sharks 6-2. So Saturday's biggest loser has to be the Pittsburgh Penguins falling short at home against the Bruins, and everybody else won and they lost. And then yesterday, the Blues over the Kraken 4-1. Golden Knights over the Avs 4-3 in OT on a game winner by by Thomas Hurdle as Vegas comes back from 3-0 down in the third period. So that was a good win for them. Hurricanes over the Blackhawks 4-2 and the Flames over the Coyotes 6-5. All right, 7 o'clock tonight, Habs Red Wings. Big game for Detroit. Obviously, where things stand right now, they don't have the tiebreaker over the Capitals, but they're tied in points with them. So that last wild card is still up for grabs. And even third in the Metro, low-key up for grabs. The Islanders lose their last two, and Pittsburgh wins their last two. I don't know if Pittsburgh would have the tiebreaker. Yeah, they would because they have more regulation wins. But Islanders have more row wins than Pittsburgh. But if Pittsburgh would have to win those games in regulation, the Islanders would have to lose in regulation twice. So now the question, Pittsburgh for third. But you never know. But yeah, it's a must-win game for the Detroit Red Wings tonight against a terrible Habs team. Detroit's minus 205. Montreal's plus 116 over under 6.5. Over's minus 102, and there's minus 120. Habs plus 1.5 is minus 142. Wings minus 1.5 is plus 118. And Detroit has 2 games left tonight, and then their last game. I'm laying the puck line with the Red Wings. Sabres Lightning. Lightning minus 170, or Sabres plus 140 over under 6.5. Overs plus 114, others minus 140. Sabres plus 1.5 is minus 176. Bolts minus 1.5 is plus 146. I'm still going with the over. Islanders Devils. That's a big one for the Islanders. Why is this a pick'em? Why? Over under 5.5. Overs minus 140. Unders plus 114. Isles plus 1.5 is minus 265. Devils minus 1.5 plus 215. Why the hell is this a pick'em? This is a must-win for the Islanders. They get the clinch. There's a scenario where they miss the playoffs. They can't lose this game. I'm shocked that this is the line. But I'm actually going to take the under because I can't believe it's a pick'em. This game should not be a pick'em. The Devils are bad, and they're overrated, and the Islanders have a chance to make the playoffs. So I'm going to go with the under because the fact that it's a pick'em in a must-win game for the Islanders says all you need to know. Preds Penguins. The Penguins are home favorites, minus 130, but the Preds are plus 108 over under 6.5. Overs plus 106, unders minus 130. Preds plus 1.5 is minus 225. Pens minus 1.5 is plus 184. I like the over in that game. I think the Penguins win, though. Bruins Capitals is another big one. Could the Bruins play spoiler 2 nights in a row? Potentially. They're minus 156. The Caps are plus 130 over under 5.5. Overs minus 8. Unders minus 112. Bruins minus 1.5 is plus 164. Caps plus 1.5 is minus 200. I'm going to go with the over in that game because I think the Bruins might do it by themselves. 7:30, Sens Rangers. So a Ranger home game at 7:30. Usually the Ranger home games are at 7, but they push it up to 7:30 for some reason. Last home game for them, last game of the season. A lot on the line for them as well. They're minus 225. The Sens are plus 184 over under 6.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Ottawa plus 1.5 is minus 134. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 112. I think the Rangers puck line's the pick. I don't feel good about it because it would be very Rangers of them for Ottawa to take them to OT in a shootout with a chance to clinch not only the division but the President's Trophy in Game 82 of the season. But maybe Ranger fangirl in me wants to see them win by multiple goals, or that last goal is going to be an empty net goal. So let's just say that it's a 4-2 Rangers win and that last goal is an empty netter. So I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Rangers, and they'll clinch the President's Trophy at home in front of their fans. 9:30 Sharks Oilers. Oilers minus 430, Sharks plus 330, over under 6.5, overs plus 110, unders minus 134. Sharks plus 1.5 is plus 132, Oilers minus 1.5 is minus 160, over plus money. And last but not least, 9:30 ESPN, Wild Kings. The Wild, they're obviously out of it. The Kings clinched. But the Kings still are playing for third in the division. But if you're the Kings, do you think you'd rather play Vancouver than Edmonton? But then again, Edmonton, we all know what they are, front runners. So maybe you'd rather play Edmonton. So that's up for grabs as well. The Kings are minus 170 to Wild, they're plus 140, over under 5.5, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Wild plus 1.5 is minus 188, Kings minus 1.5 is plus 155. I'm actually going to go with the over in this game as well. All right, now move on to Major League Baseball. We'll go over the results from the previous weekend and look ahead to today's game. So we'll start with Friday. Tigers over the Twins 8-2. Pirates over the Phillies 5-2. Rays over the Giants 2-1. Yankees Guardians postponed. They had a doubleheader Saturday. Brewers over the O's 11-1. Rockies over the Jays 12-4. Angels over the Red Sox 7-0. Braves over the Marlins 8-1. Mets over the Royals 6-1. Reds over the White Sox 11-1. Rangers over the Astros 12-8. Mariners over the Cubs 4-2. Cards over the D-backs 9-6. A's over the Nats 2-1-10 on a walk-off single by Lawrence Butler. And the Padres over the Dodgers 8-7-11. Saturday, doubleheader game 1. Yanks over the Guardians 3-2. Doubleheader game 1. Twins over the Tigers 11-5-12. Royals over the Mets 11-7. Reds over the White Sox 5-0. Jays over the Rockies 5-3. Brewers over the O's 11-5. Game 2. Yanks over the Guardians 8-2. Phils over the Pirates 4-3. Astros over the Rangers 9-2. Nats over the A's 3-1. Red Sox over the Angels 7-2. Marlins over the Braves 5-1. Giants over the Rays 11-2. Doubleheader game 2. Twins over the Tigers 4-1. D-backs over the Cardinals 4-2. Dodgers over the Padres 5-2. Cubs over the Mariners 4-1. And then yesterday, Red Sox over the Angels 5-4. O's over the Brewers 6-4. Guardians over the Yankees 8-7-10 on a walk-off sac fly by Andre Jimenez as the Yankees make some defensive mistakes in extras that end up costing them the game. Pirates over the Phillies 9-2. Blue Jays over the Rockies 5-0. Braves over the Marlins 9-7. Mets over the Royals 2-1 as that game was 0-0 like the whole time, and then the Mets scored twice in the 8th, and then Vinny Pasquantino homered in the 9th. Mets are only 1 under 500. Tigers over the Twins 4-3. Rays over the Giants 9-4. Reds over the White Sox 11-4. Astros over the Rangers 8-5. A's over the Nats 7-6. Cubs over the Mariners 3-2. D-backs over the Cardinals 5-0. And the Padres over the Dodgers 6-3 on Sunday Night Baseball. All right, coming up at 11 o'clock this morning, Guardians Red Sox. It's the Boston Marathon game. Tradition like no other. Cutter Crawford and Xavier Curry. Curry making his debut. Red Sox minus 136. Guardians plus 116 over under 9.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Guardians plus 1.5 is minus 176. Red Sox minus 1.5 is plus 146. I like the under. That's a high number. 6:30, you have the Twins at the Orioles. Louis Varland and Cole Irvin. O's minus 148. Twins plus 126. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Twins plus 1.5 is minus 156. O's minus 1.5 is plus 130. That's a good one. I'm going to go with over 4.5 Oriole runs minus 104. Rockies, Phillies. Cal Quantrill and Aaron Nola. Phils minus 275. Rockies plus 225. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Rockies plus 1.5 is plus 112. Phils minus 1.5 is minus 134. I like the over. Giants, Marlins. Kyle Harrison and AJ Puke. Giants minus 118. Marlins even money. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Giants minus 1.5 is plus 134. Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 62. I'm going to go with the Giants on the money line, minus 118. Rangers, Tigers. Michael Lorenzen making his season debut against Reese Olson. Rangers minus 116. Tigers minus 102. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 136. Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 164. I'm going to take the over. 650, Angels, Rays. Patrick Sandoval and Zach Eflin. Rays minus 164, Angels plus 138, over under 8, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Angels plus 1.5 is minus 146, Rays minus 1.5 is plus 122. I love the over. 7 o'clock, Pirates, Mets. Martin Perez and Adrian Hauser. Mets minus 126, Pirates plus 108, over under 8, minus 110 each way. Pirates plus 1.5 is minus 100, Mets minus 1.5 is plus 164. I love the Pirates at home as a dog, or on the road as a dog, plus 108 at Citi Field. Yankees, Blue Jays. Luis Heel and Chris Bassett. Jays minus 110, Yanks minus 106, over under 9, overs even money, unders minus 122. Yanks minus 1.5 is plus 150. Jays plus 1.5 is minus 182. Jays favored on the money line. Yankees favored on the run line. I don't know. This is a hard one because it's a pick 'em. The Jays are 500, 8-8, and are in last. And obviously the Yankees are in first in their division. Yankees obviously going for 6 straight series wins to start the year. This is so hard. All right, if the Yankees lose, I'm a jinx as a fan. I'm taking the Yankees minus 106. They'll bounce back after losing to extras yesterday. 7:30, Royals, White Sox. Seth Lugo and Nick Nastrini. Nastrini making his debut. Royals minus 186. White Sox plus 156. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 105. Others minus 115. Royals minus 1.5 is minus 115. White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 102. Royals run line. Padres, Brewers. Joe Musgrove and Joe Ross. Padres minus 118, Brewers even money, over under 8.5, overs even money, unders minus 122. Padres minus 1.5 is plus 134, Brewers plus 1.5 is minus 62. Joe Musgrove has been bad so far this year. I'm fading him, taking the Brewers at even money. 8 o'clock, Braves, Astros could be the World Series preview. Maybe not, because the Astros are 6-11 and the Braves don't have Spencer Strider for the year. Darius Vines making his debut for the Braves against Spencer Argetti. It's a pick of minus 180 each way, over under 9.5. Overs minus 118, others minus 104. Braves minus 1.5 is plus 134. Astros plus 1.5 is minus 162. I absolutely love the over in that game. Cubs, Diamondbacks at 9:30. Ben Brown, Merrill Kelly. D-backs minus 152, Cubs plus 128, over under 9, overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 162, D-backs minus 1.5 is plus 134. I don't feel good about it, but I'm going to go with the under. Cards, A's, Sonny Gray, and Ross Stripling. So Sonny Gray back at his original team. How about that? Cards are minus 168. A's are plus 142, over under 7.5. Overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Cards minus 1.5 is plus 102. A's plus 1.5 is minus 122. Cardinals run line. This is a Sonny Gray pick. And then he'll get his run support. Reds, Mariners. Frankie Montas and George Kirby. Mariners minus 158. Reds plus 134. Over under 7. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 170. Mariners minus 1.5 is plus 140. Absolutely love the Reds outright. Plus 134 here. Frankie Montas has been terrific this year. And George Kirby has not. And at 10 o'clock, you have the Nationals at the Dodgers. Mitchell Parker making his debut against Tyler Glasnow. Dodgers minus 360. Nats plus 290. Over under 8.5. Overs minus weight. Unders minus 112. Nats plus 1.5 is plus 132. Dodgers minus 1.5 is minus 160. This is hard. But I'm just going to go with over 8.5 at minus 108. But I don't feel super about it. All right, now move on to soccer. We'll go over all the notable results from the weekend and look ahead to everything today. All right, Premier League from the weekend. Saturday, Newcastle over Tottenham 4-0. Brentford over Sheffield United 2-0. Burnley Brighton 1-1 draw. Man City over Luton 5-1. Nottingham Forest Wolves 2-2 draw. Bournemouth Man United 2-2 draw. Yesterday, Crystal Palace over Liverpool 1-0. Fulham over West Ham 2-0. And Aston Villa over Arsenal 2-0. And then today, 3 o'clock, you have Chelsea Everton, which is a pretty big game in that league. Chelsea minus 145, Everton plus 360, draw plus 320. Chelsea's in 9th, and Everton is 16th. Chelsea's obviously better, so they should win. But the play I'm going to give out is over 3.5 goals at plus 140. La Liga. Friday, Betis over Celta Vigo 2-1. Saturday, Atletico over Girona 3-1. Real Getafe 0-0 draw. Real Madrid over Mallorca 1-0. Barcelona over Cadiz 1-0. And then yesterday, Sevilla over Las Palmas 2-0. Granada over Alaves 2-0. Athletic Villarreal 1-1 draw. Real Sociedad Almeria 2-2 draw. And then today at 3 o'clock, you have Osasuna and Valencia. Osasuna plus 130, Valencia plus 340, draws 2-1. Osasuna is in 11th right now, and Valencia is in 8th. Valencia is the better team. I'm thinking of plus 240. Bundesliga. Friday, Augsburg over Union Berlin 2-0. Saturday, Bayern over Cologne 2-0. Dortmund over Gladbach 2-1. Mainz over Hoffenheim 4-1. RB Leipzig over Wolfsburg 3-0. Heidenheim Bochum 1-1 draw. Stuttgart over Frankfurt 3-0. And then yesterday, Freiburg over Darmstadt 1-0. And Leverkusen over Bremen 5-0. As Leverkusen gets it done. I think they clinched already, which is crazy. All right, Serie A from the weekend. Friday, Lazio over Salernitana 4-1. Saturday, Lecce over Empoli 1-0. Torino Juventus 0-0 draw. Bologna Monza 0-0 draw. Yesterday, Napoli Frosinone 2-2 draw. Sassuolo Milan 3-3 draw. Udinese AS Roma 1-1 but abandoned. And then Inter Milan and Cagliari 2-2 draw. It's 2 games today. 12:30 at Fiorentina and Genoa. Fiorentina's in 10th. And Genoa is in 12th, so they're close in the standings. Fiorentina's even money. Genoa's 3-1. The draw's plus 220. I'm going with Fiorentina at even money. And then Atalanta Verona at 245. Atalanta's in 6th and Verona's in 17th. Verona's flirting with relegation. So, not ideal. Atalanta's minus 250, Verona plus 550, draw plus 350. I'm going over 2.5 goals at plus 142 for this one. Dutch Eredivisie. Friday, Excalibur over FC Volendam 4-0. Saturday, PSV over Vitesse 6-0. AZ Alkmaar over RKC Waldrich 3-2. Sparta over Mary City 3-2. And then yesterday, Heerenveen over Heracles 2-0. FC Utrecht over the Go Ahead Eagles 2-1. Feyenoord over Fortuna 1-0. Ajax over FC 20 2-1. NEC PEC Zwolle 2-2 draw. No Dutch Eredivisie again until next Wednesday. French League 1. Friday, Metz over Lens 2-1. Saturday, Strasbourg over Reims 3-1. Toulouse over Rennes 2-1. And then yesterday, Nantes over Le Havre AC 1-0. Clermont Montpellier 1-1 draw. And Lyon over Brest 4-3. All right, the Women's Cup semifinals. Tottenham over Leicester 2-1 in additional extra time. And Man United over Chelsea 2-1. The final will be Sunday, May 12th on Mother's Day with Tottenham and Man United. All right, Women's Super League. Yesterday, Arsenal over Bristol City 5-0. MLS from the weekend. Saturday, Portland LAFC 2-2 draw. CF Montreal over Cincinnati 2-1. Charlotte over Toronto 3-2. Orlando over DC United 3-2. NYCFC over New England 2-0. Red Bulls Chicago 0-0 draw. Dallas Seattle 0-0 draw. Houston over Minnesota 2-1. Miami over KC 3-2. Salt Lake Columbus 0-0 draw. Colorado over San Jose 3-0. And the Galaxy over Vancouver 3-1. And then yesterday, Atlanta Philly 2-2 draw. And St. Louis over Austin 1-0. And then the National Women's Soccer League Friday, Washington over Houston 3-1. Orlando over Utah 1-0. Saturday, North Carolina over Portland 2-0. Louisville, San Diego 0-0 draw. Angel City over Chicago 1-0. And then yesterday, Gotham, KC 1-1 draw. And Bay FC over Seattle 3-2. Liga MX Friday, Mazatlan over Querétaro 2-0. The Cox over Santos 2-0. Cruz Azul over Puebla 1-0. And then Saturday, Guadalajara over Pachuca 1-0. America over Toluca 5-1. Monterrey Tigres 3-3 draw. And then yesterday, Atlas over Athletic St. Louis 2-1. UNAM over Leon 1-0. Tijuana over Juarez 1-0. All right, USL. Yesterday, Saturday, Loudon over Memphis 2-1, Charleston over Indy 6-4-2, Rhode Island, Pittsburgh 0-0 draw, San Antonio, Orange County 0-0 draw, Oakland over El Paso 3-2, Monterey Bay over Vegas 3-1, Sacramento, Tulsa 1-1 draw, Phoenix over Colorado 1-0. And then North Carolina, Birmingham played yesterday. And that was a 1-1 draw. The ELC. Friday, Plymouth over Leicester 1-0. Saturday, Blackburn over Leeds 1-0. Birmingham over Coventry 3-0. Bristol City, Huddersfield 1-1 draw. Hull over QPR 3-0. Ipswich Borough 1-1 draw. Millwall over Cardiff 3-1. Norwich City over Preston 1-0. Sheffield Wednesday Stoke 1-1 draw. Southampton over Watford 3-2. Swansea over Rotherham 1-0. Sunderland over West Brom 1-0. Scottish Premiership. Saturday, Aberdeen Dundee 0-0 draw. Celtic St. Mirren. Celtic wins that 3-0. Hearts over Livingston 4-2. Motherwell Hibernian 1-1 draw. And Kilmarnock over St. Johnstone 2-0. And then yesterday, Ross County over Rangers 3-2, and then the final game for premiership is Dundee Rangers. So Celtic is going to the Champions League again. Rangers is going to qualify. Hearts will go to EuroLeague qualifying. Kilmarnock's going to go to Conference League qualifying. We know that Livingston's getting relegated. And the relegation playoff will either be St. Johnstone or... Well, it looks like it's going to be Ross County. And then everybody else is safe. So that's interesting. That league is coming to a close. All right, now move on to NASCAR. We did Golf the Open, so we skipped right along to NASCAR. Results from the weekend in Texas. Your winner of the Truck Series race from Texas was Kyle Busch. Coming in second was Corey Heim. Third, Nick Sanchez. Fourth, Christian X. Fifth, Zane Smith. Sixth, Daniel Dye. Seventh, Taylor Gray. Eighth, Tanner Gray. Ninth, Stephon Parsons. 10th, Ty Majeski. The rest, Wallace Allen, Raja Caruth, Stuart Friesen, Bailey Curry, Matt Crafton, Dean Thompson, Johnny Sauter, Connor Jones, Jake Garcia, Mason Massey, Timmy Hill, Brett Holmes, Ty Dillon, Ben Rhodes, Chase Purdy, Matt Mills, Spencer Boyd, Keith McGee, Grant Effinger, Chris Wright, Lane Riggs, Thad Moffitt, Memphis Villarreal, and Tanner Ankrum. Xfinity from Texas, your winner, Sam Meyer. Second, Brian Sieg. Third, Justin Algier. Fourth, AJ Allmendinger. He was my pick. Fifth, Cole Custer. Sixth, Austin Hill. Seventh, Ryan Truex. Eighth, Sammy Smith. Ninth, Jesse Love. 10th, Anthony Alfredo. The rest, Tanner Gray, Josh Williams, Brandon Jones, Kyle Sieg, Chandler Smith, Jeremy Clements, Corey Heim, Shane Van Gisbergen, Sheldon Creed, Matt DiMendetto, Brennan Poole, Parker Retzlaff, Haley Deegan, Daniel Dye, Parker Kligerman, Ryan Ellis, Riley Herbst, David Starr, Josh Belicki, Joey Gase, Lawless Honeyman, Jeb Burton, Parker Emmerling, Garrett Smithley, Blaine Perkins, Kyle Weatherman, Dawson Cram, and Chad Fincham. And the Cup race from Texas, your winner, Chase Elliott. Second, Brad Keselowski. Third, William Byron. Fourth, Tyler Riddick. Fifth, Daniel Suarez. Sixth, Chase Briscoe. Seventh, Bubba Wallace. Eighth, Austin Dillon. Ninth, Kyle Busch. 10th, Carson Osbar. The rest, Joey Logano, Ryan Preece, Ty Gibbs, Martin Truex Jr., Chris Buescher, Ty Dillon, Chris Bell, Noah Gragson, Eric Jones, Daniel Hemrick, Kyle Larson, Corey LaJoie, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Justin Haley, Austin Cindric, James Smith, Kaz Gralla, Harrison Burton, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Todd Gilliland, Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney, John Hunter Nemechek, Michael McDowell, Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, and Austin Hill. So next week's Talladega. So that's going to be an interesting race. All right, now we'll talk about last night's episode of American Idol and look ahead to tonight. And last night was fun. They performed on the Hollywood stage. So they announced the top 20, and the first group to get announced was the group that worked with Jelly Roll. So the first performer announced safe was Jack Blocker. He performed You Don't Mess Around with Him by Jim Croce. Next announced safe was Mia Matthews as she performed Wildflowers and Wild Horses by Lainey Wilson. Next safe performer Mackenzie Soul performed I'll Never Love Again by Lady Gaga. Next up safe was Roman Collins. He performed Never Would Have Made It by Marvin Sapp. Next up was Kennedy Reed as she performed Love Can Build a Bridge by the Judds. And then Teddy Swims performed his song Lose Control, which was fun. Next announced safe, Ozzy, as Ozzy performed Like a Stone by Audio Slave. Then Jennifer Jeffries performs Grave Digger by Matt Mason. Then next safe was Emmy Russell. She performed Want You, which was an original. Next safe was Tristan Harper. He also performed the original called HOPE. And the last person announced safe from the Jelly Roll group was Odell Button Jr. as he performed The Door by Teddy Swims. And we had to say goodbye to K-Blocks and Ellie. Then Tori Kelly's group went. First up was Keiko as he performed Over You, which was an original. Next up, Jordan Anthony announced safe, performing When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish. That was outstanding. Then Contavious performing Hollow by Tori Kelly, and that's a song he almost sang at Hawaii, but he chose the Carrie Underwood song instead. Next safe contestant was Kay Bryn as she performed Girl I Am Now, which was an original. I thought she was really good. Then we saw Paul Russell perform his smash hit Little Boo Thang. That was awesome. And then the next announced safe contestant was Naya. She performed Georgia on Her Mind by Ray Charles. Next safe contestant was Jana Elisa. She performed My All by Mariah Carey. Next safe performer was Abby Carter, who I thought had the best performance of the night, performing her own rendition of My Chemical Romance's Welcome to the Black Parade. She killed it. And then Lauren Spencer Smith performed her hit song Fingers Crossed. That was fun seeing her back on the Idol stage, as she was a COVID Idol contestant, as she mentioned on the show last night. And then she had the big hit Fingers Crossed, which was on the radio. And then she got to perform on Idol, which is cool. Next contestant announced safe was Will Mosley as he performed Gone for Good, which was an original. Next up was McKenna Breinholt. She had an outstanding performance to Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. And then the last announced safe contestant was Julia Gagnon as she performed I Believe by Fantasia. So the people that went home in the Tori Kelly group were Haley and K-Blocks. Or not K-Blocks, the football player, Blake Prohl. So, good show. And then, alright, so we're going to preview tonight now. The top 14 will be announced, and it's the first time they're going live this year. So that's a fun subplot. It's always fun when they go live right away. So they go from 20 down to 14. So my predictions on who will make the top 14 of American Idol. Abby Carter. Emmy Russell. Jennifer Jeffries. Jordan Anthony. Keiko. Kay Bryn. Mackenzie Soul. Mia Matthews. McKenna Breinholt. Julia Gagnon. Roman Collins. Contavious. Tristan Harper. And Will Mosley. So there you have it for my predictions for the top 14. And then I have going home Aji, Jack, Jaina, Kennedy, Naya, and Odell. So again, my top 14. And then I'm just going to reveal my rankings on how the performers did. I had Abby as the best, then Jordan, McKenna, Mackenzie, Cabrin, Keiko, Julia, Will, Roman, Jennifer, Emmy, Tristan, Contavious, Mia. That's who I have as my top 14. And then my 15 through 20, I had Odell, Jaina, Jack, Naya, Kennedy, Aji. So can't wait for Idol tonight. I don't know if there's a particular theme to tonight's show. I don't think so, or else they would have said it in the preview. But I can't wait to see who will get to perform live. So let's keep our eyes on that. All right, now I'm going to do my NFL mock draft. I think that we're overdue for this. We haven't done one since the Super Bowl, quite frankly. There's just so much busyness going on with college basketball and such. So there you go. My third edition of the mock draft. Number 1, the Chicago Bears from the Carolina Panthers. Caleb Williams, quarterback, USC. It's fair to say the Bears will take Williams here at 1 with Justin Fields off to Pittsburgh. Williams is thought out to be by some the best quarterback draft prospect since Andrew Luck with his great playmaking skills, but his off-field attitude could be concerning. 2, the Washington Commanders. Drake May, quarterback, North Carolina. It's either going to be May or Jaden Daniels here for the Commanders, but now I have May. He has the strength, size, and mobility to be a traditional franchise quarterback. 3, New England Patriots. Jaden Daniels, quarterback, LSU. The Patriots should take whomever's left here between Daniels and Drake May rather than trade down or possibly take Marvin Harrison Jr. Daniels was perhaps the most electric quarterback in the country with his speed and flashy stats in what was a Heisman Trophy campaign. 4, the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State. The Cardinals are doing cartwheels here, landing perhaps the best wide receiver prospect since Calvin Johnson. Harrison Jr. is a nightmare for defenses due to his size and athleticism. 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. Joe Alt, offensive tackle, Notre Dame. This pick feels almost certain to be traded, and quite frankly, trading down is what the Chargers should do. Say if they stood here and took Alt, it would be a good pick with his consistency, and he, along with Rashawn Slater, would be a good tandem protecting Justin Herbert. 6, the New York Football Giants. Malik Neighbors, wide receiver, LSU. Snagging Neighbors here at 6 would be outstanding for Joe Shane and company, considering folks think Neighbors could be picked higher than Marvin Harrison Jr. Neighbors is known for his ability to make big plays with a lot of yardage, and that's something that the Giants' offense needs. 7, the Tennessee Titans. Olamiwa Fashanu, offensive tackle, Penn State. With Joel off the board, the Titans take another excellent tackle prospect in Fashanu. He did not have a great season in college last year, but he has way more upside than he showed, and he and Peter Skoronski would be solid together protecting Will Levis. 8, the Atlanta Falcons. Dallas Turner, edge rusher, Alabama. This feels like such an obvious match considering the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins, which takes him out of the quarterback conversation. Turner has great speed and athleticism, and he can also stop the run. 9, the Chicago Bears. Rome Odunze, wide receiver, Washington. The Bears have a lot of options here, including a trade down. Odunze is someone with the speed and size and has the ability to play through contact and would be yet another weapon for Caleb Williams. 10, the New York Jets. Felice Fuaga, offensive tackle, Oregon State. The Jets do have their short-term solution at the tackles of Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith, but it's not a bad idea to invest in long-term at the position too. Fuaga is a strong player and is a perfect plug-and-play on the offensive line for a unit with not a lot of durability. 11, the Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy, quarterback, Michigan. This selection via a trade-up feels so obvious that it may not be meant to be. The Vikings do have a need for a long-term answer at the position, and McCarthy doesn't really make mistakes and has good accuracy despite not having a high ceiling. 12, the Denver Broncos. Brock Bowers, tight end, Georgia. What the Broncos should do is try to get ahead of the Vikings to try to draft J.J. McCarthy. But getting Michael Penix or Bo Nix later in the draft is not a bad idea either. Bowers is an absolute difference maker, and he would make whomever plays quarterback for the Broncos look better. 13, the Las Vegas Raiders. Terrion Arnold, cornerback, Alabama. This is another possible sleeper team for a quarterback, but the Raiders have other areas to address on their roster. Arnold is not known for discipline, but he has excellent ball production and super athletic. 14, the New Orleans Saints. J.C. Latham, offensive tackle, Alabama. The Saints can go in a number different of directions here with their pick. Latham is a versatile offensive lineman and is one of the stronger players in the draft. But more importantly, the Saints could use a tackle to help protect Derek Carr. 15, Indianapolis Colts. Byron Murphy II, defensive tackle, Texas. This would be an interesting selection for the Colts, who have DeForest Buckner heading into a contract year coming up. Murphy is someone that has a similar disruption as Buckner, except with a different body type. 16, the Seattle Seahawks. Troy Fautanu, interior offensive line, Washington. This would be a solid pick for the Seahawks, considering that they need help on the offensive line with the free agent losses they suffered. Fautanu is versatile, which should help his draft stock, and he can play anywhere on the line. 17, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback, Toledo. This would be a solid pick for the Jaguars, considering the need in their secondary, despite coming from a conference that flies under the radar. Mitchell is super aggressive with his moves and has good size. 18, the Cincinnati Bengals. Amarius Mims, offensive tackle, Georgia. The Bengals need to protect Joe Burrow at all costs once he returns from injury, and Mims here makes sense with Trent Brown signed to a 1-year deal. Mims has a massive frame with length and excels in pass protection. 19, the Los Angeles Rams. Leto Latu, edge rusher, UCLA. Latu's draft range dropped after free agency, with a lot of teams needing quarterbacks and other areas of need. Latu is a fast player, but his attacking abilities make him stand out, and the Rams could use that energy with Aaron Donald retired. 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Graham Barton, interior offensive line, Duke. Barton is a player whose draft stock has risen with his versatility, and he could provide that, and the Steelers could play him anywhere. Barton has good football IQ and good hand placement, but doesn't consistently dominate. 21, the Miami Dolphins. Jerson Newton, defensive line, Illinois. This pick makes a lot of sense for the Dolphins, considering the free agent loss of Christian Wilkins. Newton has good size and technique, has alignment versatility, and is super durable, which is important for a team that has a lot of injury-prone players. 22, the Philadelphia Eagles. Nate Wiggins, cornerback, Clemson. Wiggins is another player whose draft range and stock has dropped for a number of reasons, and the Eagles have a long-term need at the position. Wiggins has excellent length and is very patient in pass coverage. 23, the Minnesota Vikings from the Houston Texans via the Cleveland Browns. Jared Verse, edge rush, Florida State. A lot of folks think that this selection will be made by another team, but if the Vikings were to stay here, Verse makes a ton of sense with the loss of Daniel Hunter. Verse is a plug-and-play pass rusher whom is athletic, always aware, and super explosive to make his presence felt on opposing offensive lines. 24, the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle, Oklahoma. It'd be somewhat surprising if the Cowboys don't take an offensive lineman here, considering the free agent losses they suffered. Guyton is someone that is a work in progress, but he has great physical traits and is effective when asked to pull. 25, Green Bay Packers. Julian McKinstry, cornerback, Alabama. This pick would make sense considering nothing is certain in terms of Jair Alexander's future with the team. McKinstry brings a high football IQ as well as good length and physicality to that secondary. 26, Brian Thomas Jr. I should say Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, LSU. This pick makes sense even with the re-signing of Mike Evans since Chris Godwin is entering a contract year. Thomas has the length and elusiveness to succeed, and it may be too good to pass up. 27, the Arizona Cardinals from the Houston Texans. Darius Robinson, edge rusher, Missouri. The Cardinals were obviously hoping that this pick was going to be near the top of the draft when they made the trade last year, but they'll still land a good player here regardless. The Cards badly need help on their pass rush, so Robinson here makes sense, and his versatility helps as well. 28, the Buffalo Bills. Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver, Texas. With the trading of Stephon Diggs and losing Gabe Davis in free agency, the need for the Bills to draft a wide receiver is a must. Mitchell is someone that is super explosive with his speed and ability to get down the field, but does not provide breakaway speed. 29, Detroit Lions. Ennis Rakestraw Jr., cornerback, Missouri. You can make a case Rakestraw decides to stretch, but the Lions have an obvious need at the position. Rakestraw has good physicality and energy, which is something Dan Campbell would enjoy. 30, the Baltimore Ravens. Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle, Arizona. With the trading of Morgan Moses to the Jets, the Ravens now have an open tackle spot to help protect Lamar Jackson. Morgan makes sense here with his versatility, and he's well-balanced and has physical aspects. 31, the San Francisco 49ers. Kingsley Suamadia, offensive tackle, BYU. The Niners are a team that is great in a lot of areas to the point where they don't have an obvious need. Suamadia has the footwork, technique, and the length to be impactful and would be good alongside Trent Williams protecting Brock Purdy. And 32, the Kansas City Chiefs. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, Florida. The Chiefs should go cornerback here at the loss of L'Jarius Sneed. But Pearsall does make sense. I think he's a reach. But also the Chiefs need help at wide receiver. Don't forget they led the league in drops last year. He shined in the Pro Bowl and the Combine, which has improved his draft stock. So there you have it for the mock draft. And now we move on to the news and notes. For today, we're going to do rapid fire news and notes. So the Jets announced new uniforms, so that's pretty cool. All right, so Max Holloway wins UFC 300. Over Justin Gaethje in a knockout in round 5 in just under 5 minutes. Travis Kelce walked at graduation at Cincinnati as he chugs beer at his graduation. There was a chicken wing thrown on the floor in the Pelicans-Kings game the other night, and Kevin Harlan was in disbelief. The 76ers unveiling Allen Iverson statues, that's pretty cool. Colts extend DeForest Buckner 2 years, $46 million. Of course, that happens when I put in Byron Murphy in the mock draft. But good job by the Colts. T. Higgins anticipates staying with the Bengals in 2024 as he's unlikely to be traded. And Devontae Adams looks like he's committed to the Raiders. Brandon Ayuk unfiles the 49ers on Instagram and mid-contract negotiations. That always happens. Jared Goff could get $45 to $50 million as the deal still needs to be ironed out. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mark Pope got introduced as Kentucky's coach. I think that Kentucky could have done better. As I said on the Friday show, but they introduced him. And he had the 1996 championship trophy with him at the press conference, so that's pretty cool. And then Rick Pitino endorsed Mark Pope, which is nice. And he gets a 5-year deal. Donovan Clingan to enter the draft. expected to be a top 10 pick. Kyle Filipowski also declared to the draft, as does Jared McCain of Duke. Kenley Jansen rips baseball quality as he was frustrated post-game the other day as he stressed for need for higher quality baseballs. The Braves signed Yuli Gurriel to a minor league deal. That's interesting. Bad Bunny faces MLB punishment as his agency, Remus Sports, is facing discipline from the Players Association after union investigation. That's yikes. Spencer Strider out for the year as he underwent surgery to repair UCL. Not ideal for the Braves. That's a huge loss for them. And now they're going to have to trade for somebody this summer. There's a benches clearing the other night in Brewers-Orioles as Willie Adames and James McCann had to be split. Shohei Ohtani hit a historic home run as he ties Hideki Matsumi for most home runs by a Japanese-born player. But Ohtani obviously is in the news for the wrong reasons, as Mizuhara is in federal custody as he's expected to be let out on bond after a court appearance. Well, he was expected to be let out after the court appearance. And then Mizuhara released on a $25,000 bond as he did not enter a plea in his hearing is scheduled for May 9th. And Shohei Ohtani is focusing on baseball as he is grateful for investigation, hopeful to move forward. We talked about the playoff seeding in the NBA. The Nets-Knicks game the other night got chippy late as Cam Thomas had a hard shove to Jalen Brunson with 4 seconds left, and OG Anunoby got involved a little bit. Tom Thibodeau compared Jalen Brunson to Patrick Ewing, I guess in terms of stardom. So the Coyotes are likely moving to Salt Lake City as the players were informed the team may visit Salt Lake City after Wednesday's game to check out the facilities. And then the Coyotes came out with a statement regarding it. Something unfortunate happened in the Capitals Lightning game the other night as Nick Jensen left Saturday's game after taking a hit from Michael Eyssimont of the Lightning. But the good news is that he was conscious and alert. So that's good news. 13 Grizzlies sat out on Friday night against the Lakers. They were obviously tanking. They're going to say injuries all they want. I mean, some of them are hurt, but, some of them are fake. The Sky and the Lynx make a trade prior to tonight's WNBA draft. Chicago gets the 7th pick and Nikolina Milic in the stage for the 8th pick, Sika Kone, and 2 future picks. So, Chicago moves up a little bit. Caitlin Clark was on Saturday Night Live the other night, so that's pretty cool. And Lisa Leslie wants Caitlin Clark on Team USA. And I don't disagree with that. Tiki Barber rips J.J. McCarthy and says he's not a first-round caliber pick. I kind of lean in that direction. But he's going to be a first-round pick because he's a quarterback and just won the national title. Jordan Love likely to get huge contract extension as he's expected to sign a contract that puts him among the top 10 passers next season. Von Miller had an interesting Instagram story that suggested the Bills could be trading up in the draft. NBA free agency rumors as we head into the postseason. The 76ers are eyeing Paul George as they should. And the Magic are in on Klay Thompson, which would be a fun match. Nets general manager Sean Marks returning next season. We talked about that with Jeff Burns. And the Nets are finalizing their coaching searches. The favorite for the job looks like it's former Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer. That'd be such a Nets hire, too. Monty Williams' job is safe for now, as he must show ability to significantly develop the team. Conor McGregor making his return to the octagon after a 3-year layoff on June 29th, so that's huge for UFC. And then Alex Pereira knocked off Jamahal Hill in first round to retain light heavyweight title in UFC 300 main event. Unfortunate here, Kentucky swimming coach Lars Jorgensen, accused of rape, as lawsuit accuses Kentucky of deliberate indifference towards the allegations against Jorgensen. So that is not ideal. Carlos Correa on the 10-day injured list after suffering right oblique strain on Friday. Not great. Brandon Lau on the injured list with an oblique strain. Not great. Rockies reliever Daniel Bard out for the season to undergo right flexor tendon surgery after rehab setback. Not ideal for the Rockies. Bronny James prioritizing the draft. Alex Sarr declares for the draft. He's the projected top 5 pick. And somebody else that declared for the draft was Matas Buzelis of the G League. So we don't cover college baseball regularly on the show. I usually do it once their tournament comes around. But Wake Forest slugger Nick Kurtz has 11 home runs in his past 7 games. That's insane. And the last thing before best bet, Rashid Rice drove 119 miles per hour as the arrest detailed the speed he was going that moments before the crash. Now the question is, what's going to happen with Rashid Rice? So there you have it for news and notes. And last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. There's a couple that I liked for best bet. And the one I decided to settle on was in hockey. I like the over in the Bruins Capitals game. That's a low number, 5.5. So I'm going to lay a 20th of a unit on over 5.5 between the Bruins and the Capitals for my best bet of the day. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything like that. Everything tomorrow. We'll do portfolio tomorrow with Idol, power rankings for the NBA as we head into the postseason, and a lot more. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.